But the baseball metaphor that I made up would dictate that tomorrow is when the first pitch begins, and I'll be getting ready for that soon for whatever group I choose to join to. But after some more research on metaphors and my own thinking, I realized this type of metaphor hacks the human risk versus reward system because out of all the people I've ever met before, from socially great friends to other ones who've been more in their own groups, everybody has a baseline fear of talking to strangers. And it's something that's natural and evolutionary, and it's something that's biological, and people must approach and defeat this fear in their own ways. And my fear is also the same, but inversely, I see that social interaction isn't as scary as high school makes it to me, but that fear is still there. So instead of hiding that analytic quirk that I have, I would use that to my full advantage to study and build a skills of a data chart. My metaphor works best for me because every conversation itself is its own pitch and its own fastball, curveball, slide, forcing. And putting that on a score report later on to look at makes social skills actionable and clinical so that next time I talk to people, I slowly fix the mistakes that I make regularly. Parallel those social skills to learn what better than me socially. And people learn socially by social cues and learning about the other side, what's acceptable, what's not. But I'm more of a direct person. And I see my social skills on a paperboard. So now that's something to work with. And that's a little bit easier for me, but others for other ways. That way it creates excitement from boredom, not because I want to show up. I want to make my skills better and join as many friend groups as possible until we find one. And now that inverts the entire risk versus reward system biologically. And as I said again, people approach these types of fears in completely different ways, however. Some close off, some else go elsewhere and use it as energy for other things. And I know this one a little bit because two people can be exactly the same in a given ground. Like in high school, for example. Someone, let's say me, who does this kind of quirky habit, and someone else who, as a response to high school and their lack of control toward other social systems and unpredictability is what I would say. Some would choose to close off and do whatever they have. I would choose to expand first. But in the end, we still have the same words. Like, what if I don't honestly? What if people don't accept me? Like, we still have that same base fears, but the way that those people would respond to it is just completely, well, different to the others. So that's why it's called pluralism, right? So people respond to things differently. And I know even then, Lucas and a few other watchers also raised the worry is that even though 99% of the last year that I had, most people socially didn't care for within who I've interacted with, and most people saw it as like eccentric more than a bother. And some still raise the worry. I know Lucas said this one the best is that some friend or acquaintance I'm with in the future might be worried if I'm using that as practice for my own baseball scoreboard and I might end up drifting away from actual socialization. My response to this worry is that this is very right to say from the contending side, but let me remind everybody that the baseball metaphor is purely for self-improvement and more of a unique mind adapting to the pressures of other people and not trying to score over basically a random boy or girl. Eventually, once I do take off socially and finally know how to pitch to other people, I won't need the metaphor and I'll simply go back to regular logging, but then everyone knows at the end is that these people aren't actual baseball games. I may take social situations seriously to build skills, but not that metaphorically seriously with all that weight. So, good worry out there. Thanks for looking. But beyond for next year, if we think of it as a sports metaphor and go dive in fully, if everyone is their own sports team, that means for my team, which is solo, I'm acting as a free agent, along with my quirky habits and personality. And whatever the case is that I need to get drafted into a friend group. Like, I am someone's future friend, trustee, or whoever. That is why I'm going to try to pitch to as many groups as possible, not until I find the textbook definition of right people who match my intellect alignment or whatever. A definition that they may be different, but if they are reciprocating and welcoming, and we can stably hang out with them, that means they know, they tell people where they're going, like, or they stay at one spot. For all we know, then I have to request to join the group.